You know, they sure don't make old-style fermentation tanks like this one in St. John anymore. See, this is handcrafted from the world's finest cypress wood, perfect for brewing the great beer the old way. Fact is, though, you like Moosehead beer so much, Moosehead also has these fermenters. In St. John and Dartmouth, specially built for Moosehead, and 8 times more enormous than the wooden vats. Look at them all. That's sure gonna be a lot of beer. If you're wondering why there's so many, the answer's simple. Moosehead's the last independent brewery in the Maritimes, so who else can brew in the real maritime taste we love in our beer? Except Moosehead. Now, after the wort's transferred into the fermenters, the most important natural brewing process gets set to occur, all because of brewer's yeast. Not much to look at, eh? Except without yeast, beer just wouldn't be beer. No alcohol, carbonated artificially, no real beer taste. So hooray for yeast. A Moosehead doesn't use just any yeast, though. Oh, no. What they use is basically the same yeast culture they've brewed with for years and years in all these fermenters. They can use the same yeast culture because yeast cells multiply quickly in the wort. The same way yeast multiplies in bread dough, only in brewing, it's called fermenting, and it produces natural carbonation and alcohol. Now hold on. We made it! The brewmaster knows what the perfect ratio of yeast to sugars must be in the wort, so the flavor of the hops come through. But yeast does even more in here. See, it's yeast, Glenn, John, that determines whether a brew will be ale or lager. There are 2 special strains of yeast. Add one and it rises to the top of the wort and produces an ale. Then when you cross the great dividing line and add the other special strain of yeast, it sinks to the bottom where it ferments. And you guessed it, produces a lager. Have you got that, Glenn, John? Here's a simple rule to help you remember. When the yeast sinks to the bottom, then it's bottoms up for Alpine Lager. When it rises to the top, it's top it up for a 10-penny ale. Once the brewmaster knows that the fermentation's over and the wort's good and ready, well, you can actually call it beer now. It's transferred up and along to be filtered. By the time it gets to here, it really looks like the beer we're so used to enjoying, except it's still not ready. It has to be aged. Brrr, it's chilly in here. You know, these tanks were specially built for Moosehead to mature their beer. It's left alone now to age peacefully as Mother Nature takes her course, blending all the flavor of the barley malt, hops, and yeast. Although some brewers rush their beer to market, Moosehead prefers to let their beer sit and wait. And wait. Until they know Alpine's developed its smooth, old-world lager taste. Until 10 pennies, mellow and satisfying. Until Moosehead Specials age to full ale flavored perfection. Until golden's just right. And Moosehead ales matured the way we like it. Then once they're fully aged and filtered, they're ready for us to enjoy. You like Moosehead Draft? Oh, so do I. Who doesn't? So watch. The kegs are filled with delicious fresh beer. Bummed? Come on, get in there. And the date's written on, so you can be sure your draft's at the peak of freshness. Then out it goes. Oh, watch out, keep it straight. Oh, here we go. Next time you order a glass of Moosehead draft, you can be really sure it's fresh and delicious. Here's to you.